The Colorado Equals Security Podcast is your local source for regional security news, local events, and interviews with key individuals in the region. Now, here are your hosts, Rob Reck and Alex Wood.
Welcome to Colorado Equals Security. This is the newscast for episode 221 for the week of August 16th.
We founded Cloudrise on October 1st, 2019.
Wow. And really the vision there was, if I summarize what I think I just heard you say, is solving the cloud DLP problem using cloud native technologies. Does that sound right?
Yeah, well, where we really landed was we're really good at data protection problems, and we're really good at data protection tech, right? So DLP has always been kind of the big heartbeat in data protection, but we really know the encryption space. We knew the email security space. We knew the SWG space, or secure web gateway space. And then when we were introduced to the CASB space, and then when you would listen to so our biggest partner is Netscope, just be straight up with that. And to listen, for me, with my networking background with VPNs and building POPs all around the globe with Quest and Level 3 and Gemplex and Vertella, to hear Sanjay talk about how they were going to build a network fabric, which is very different than what any of the other providers do. And then they were going to take a platform and essentially collapse SWG, CASB, DLP, network, this network private access. It was just phenomenal to hear that vision. And I kind of said, this is the company that you want to go partner with. And then we can solve lots of problems with this platform. But our expertise also lends us where if clients have old on-prem DLP, they have old SWGs and stuff, what we're really trying to do is architect a data protection governance program for them and then help them with the right technology. And whether that's Netscope or whether that's using MCAS inside O365, whatever have you, the goal and objective is build a partnership with these clients, be a trusted advisor, and be super deep in data protection and tell them straight up, hey, we're not the identity guys. We're not the threat management guys. Right. We're not the SIEM, SOC, SOAR guys. We're the data protection. And what we find is that depth of expertise, the total addressable market's very large for us.
So are you guys, I guess, as you started this new initiative, you identified a big opportunity, got a good team of folks who you'd worked with. It sounds like the starting team, a couple times in the past now. Do you think of it as, what did you take away from previous iterations that you said, I'm going to do it different and better this time?
Automation and a platform. So at IntelliSecure, we could never scale. We would add customers and we would add more people. And even after I left, the answer to that with the private equity guys and the management team there was open up a triage center in Guam and get price arbitrage. And one of my favorite lines from a guy named Vic Catiel at Deloitte, incredibly successful principal. Love the guy. I'm sitting with him in Munich, Germany. And he looks at me and I go, so Vic, what do you think of this managed service data protection thing? And he goes, are you going to triage incidents? And I was like, well, if we have to. And he goes, this sounds like the race to the bottom of a margin toilet bowl. And I sat there and went, when you looked at the IntelliSecure model is we would triage all these incidents, but especially with DLP platforms, it's really hard to do that because it's so close to the business. And so to have a third party reach back into the medical records department at a large healthcare organization and go, hey, you shouldn't be sending this out. Right. A lot of times we didn't have the context of the business. And so it's very difficult. So at Cloudrise, what we ultimately saw were three fundamental things that we think we can change. One is the delivery of services. So the delivery, what we found in the big four, and we analyzed this quite a bit, was predominantly they deliver their services with a fleet of people that are sent on site. That's changed during the pandemic, but they'll try to shift back to that because they like to walk the halls. It's a smart strategy. Two is they operate an email and they deliver work product as PowerPoints or spreadsheets. And when they do configuration work on platforms, there's no shared knowledge base. So you could have three consultants working on this exact same problem for like a Netscope platform. And those three consultants will never share the proper answer to the problem.
Hmm.
And we said, what happens if you built a platform that essentially could monitor all of the communication channels that you're integrated with between your delivery and your customers, and it would sit there over all those channels and go, I see that Jake, Ryan, and Anna are working on configuring this secure web gateway on Netscope. I'm going to prompt them to the actual solution. What's even better than that is if they have an updated solution, they upload it, and then the system automatically archives it, catalogs, and updates it. And so you immediately can do more higher powered, more accurate consulting and services work with, our thesis is what takes the big 4, 10 consultants to get done, we can probably do it with 5 or 6 with this platform enabling us. And it's really exciting. So that's the second piece, is just getting delivery better. And then the third is essentially the communication engagement with customers from a services perspective, and being able to write playbooks now. So what happens is we do so much work that looks very similar. If you think about it, these platforms, what do? You activate them, you tune them, you have specific policies, policy logic. We library all of that. And so now when somebody comes and goes, hey, can you activate Netscope? Well, we have a playbook. And we, if you look at one of our advisors, a guy named Bern Constant, he built a SOAR platform that FireEye purchased. And so Bern's been teaching us all about writing playbooks and automating simple tasks. So if you really look at us, Rob, we are the next generation of a service provider. Our whole goal, though, is there's all of this SaaS technology out there, but all of these service companies are still just throwing bodies at the problem. And we're going to shift that paradigm to where we are leveraging a platform that enables us to deliver repeatable, highly effective services.
Well, now you got me thinking, like, what you're creating, the platform you're using to better deliver services seems more valuable than the service you're creating to the market, right? Like, how many service providers out there would spend a boatload of money to make their delivery folks more efficient versus, what people are willing to pay to have their cloud security tools deployed? Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. You're spot on the money. We just want to keep that a secret a little bit longer. We've been shaking and jiving with our website. Yeah. It's funny because we're like, okay, well, let's just pitch ourselves with this automation platform, orchestration platform. And honestly, that's kind of how we started out. We were like, this is the route you're going to go. That's what I love about startups is the journey. You have to have a team that's willing to not be, I heard this term, this is my first time building software as a CEO. Yeah. And there's a gentleman, it's Bernd, and Bernd goes, you want to build your platform in a decoupled fashion. You want to be able to kind of move things around. And that's the way we operate our business. We're just super nimble and decoupled. And what we finally came into was we're really good at doing services. And there's a huge problem on service delivery. Let's have our platform solve for that. And then if we do some cool stuff with activations and playbooks around Netscope or Zscaler or whoever, bonus.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so basically you've created a very flexible platform that will allow scale from humans solving tough problems. You're using that platform day one to solve a problem that you are very familiar with from other places you've solved similar or identical problems. And then we'll see what avenues open up after that. Is that kind of where your head is?
Yeah, I think it's super exciting. The smarter you can make the platform understand where the right solutions are. And the other cool thing is we've moved all of our delivery to Slack. Now, if a customer comes to us and goes, well, I want to communicate in Teams, we can do that. And if they want to go old school and communicate in email, well, we can do that if you really twist our arms. But what's really cool is when most consulting firms onboard a customer, it's a kickoff call. It's a PowerPoint presentation. This is what we're going to do. This is going to be our RACI matrix, blah, 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 blah. When we provision a customer, we have predefined Slack channels with this will be the knowledge base. This will be the configuration store. This will be the people you communicate with. And what's also cool about that is from a managed service perspective, it was funny. We were working with Netscope, and they're like, can we come and see your delivery center? And I said, well, you can see it, but there's not one because we're totally remote. And what's cool about this is we can load balance teams, and the technology that we're using. I'll just be candid. Anyone can try to put this together. It's all about the execution. Yeah. But there's a company that was called Help, and Atlassian bought them. And the Greater Colorado Venture Fund was our lead investor. Great guys. And we'll get into the Grand Junction story. I'm sure everybody thinks sure. I'm nuts for moving Grand Junction, but when you hear why, there's a secret to this. But it's super cool because they introduced us to Fletcher, who built Help, and Help sits on top of these channels, and it can automatically create tickets. And so we're not beholden. And I just get so excited about this platform because the way we've built our platform is we're not beholden to any manufacturer. We can push stuff in with APIs, but we're not like in the submit a ticket through email, have the guy work the ticket. We can create tickets on the fly, and then those tickets can look at the knowledge base first, see if a little bot wants to answer things. It's just so cool.
Wow.
Sorry.
I'm super excited to hear your passion for this and really the way you're looking at solving a very common problem. I would say that most of us didn't even know was a problem. You're solving it in a new way with technology. That's fantastic. Making it more efficient, making it easier to interact. The onboarding process is faster. Pretty cool.
Yeah, our goal is this. We sat in the belly of the beast, and don't get me wrong, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Deloitte. The team there was phenomenal. They treated us absolutely exceptional. Nothing but kudos to them. They're an aircraft carrier, and it's really hard to adjust that delivery model, but people don't want to see a plane full of consultants show up anymore. And especially after the pandemic, that's just not going to happen. The other thing they want to see is I think they want more transparency on how the sausage is made with their service providers, right? Rather than us sitting back in some dark sealed off room where we get a ticket and then we log in and do some work. You can't see what we're doing. And then magic, it's done. And then you're like, how'd you do that? Well, we'd like to show them at least somewhat how the sausage is made. I think that is true partnership. And ultimately, I think a CISO's decision-making will come to this. Do I hire a recognized name for 3 times the price who's doing it old school? So we'll knock them out competition-wise. And then they're going to sit there and go, should I have my own staff do this? Or should I partner because these guys are so good in this space? And then I repurpose my staff for, frankly, security initiatives that have to have FTEs a partner can never accomplish. And as a CISO, there are just certain things in a security program that you cannot outsource.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and I think sometimes it's looking at those DLP issues, right, to know what's okay for your business.
That's why we don't triage.
Right, absolutely, for sure.
It's the beauty of the new businesses. We do platform management, policy configuration, policy analysis, and reporting and analytics. Yeah. We did all of that in IntelliSecure. The biggest piece that we don't do here out of that, what we used to call the QMS, quality management system, is we don't do incident triage or event management. What we do is we'll partner with your SOC, we'll partner with EDR providers, managed SIM providers, whatever they want, and we will give them the cleanest stream of event data. And we're solving that noise problem because we get so accurate in the policy config. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does. And you guys are, where are you in terms of like company progress? How's it going with the building of the company itself?
So we just closed so everybody has been asking because we did press releases and we didn't tell them how much we raised. I'll tell you how much we raised.
All right.
So we raised $3.5 million in a seed fund. It was oversubscribed.
Nice.
We have some phenomenal, it's all Colorado money. It's so cool.
I love that.
Oh, it's just the best. and they're phenomenal investors. I've got some angels that have some Accuvant roots, and I just love those guys. They've been like, Dan Burns and I founded BEW and he founded Accuvant the same year. Obviously different outcomes, but Dan is, we fly fish together. He's just a great mentor, and he's been a really special person during this, because I was really down on myself after the whole IntelliSecure thing. And he kind of sat down and said, as long as you're punching, you're still in the fight. And I know I've said that earlier in the podcast, but it's true. So we raised $3.5 million. We're profitable already. That's what I love about tech services, because the services business, we got profitable in March. So we started October 2019. We have 20 FTEs in the US. You're about to see 15 to 20 job recs go out the door.
You're going to double in the next quarter or two? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, we were going to double. Wow. Get ready.
and I heard you say everything's remote, but the company is in Grand Junction in Mesa County. What does that mean? Like, that's where you have an office, or employees don't have to be there, I'm guessing, if it's all remote, or do they? No,
they don't. So what we did is, I'll be honest, the Denver market is turning into the Bay Area when it comes to tech and stuff. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like some of the money it's coming. I'm just going to be very candid. I think, all this talk about unicorns and stuff like that, the VC hamster wheel, we're talking around the wrong stuff. We need to be talking about companies that are building value, that are sustainable. That's me on my soapbox. So as a old school Coloradan, we were having problems raising institutional money. I'll be bluntly honest. We're a tech services company. We're not one of these sexy SaaS companies that burns through hundreds of millions of dollars and maybe it becomes profitable one day. So the Greater Colorado Venture Fund came to us, and they were like, hey, we're trying to develop rural communities in the Western Slope. And they had heard that I was interested in moving to Grand Junction. So, past 50, I don't ski as much. I'm more of a cyclist. I'm becoming the old man and need to head to the desert. And so I said, yeah. And they said, would you consider headquartering Cloudrise in Grand Junction? I said, absolutely. So we moved the headquarters over there. So there's me. We're hiring our first Western Slope employees this week. So one from Eagle County, a couple actually in Grand Junction. And the Greater Colorado Venture Fund then led our institutional round. And as soon as they came in, then all of the others followed in. And but the biggest, coolest thing for me over there is Colorado Mesa University. So Little Mesa State, as many of you guys may know it, has grown up to 11,000 students. Go and take a drive through Colorado Mesa University, and it looks like the DU campus, all beautiful, brand new buildings. And so I just took on the role of chairman of the Industry Advisory Council for Computer Science and Cyber at the university. We're grooming interns. We have our first intern who's phenomenal, and they're joining our development team, our consultants, and we're making an impact in the community. We're building a little cool tech hub over there. We just finished Western Slope Startup Week, and the Telluride incubators over there. And there's a really cool 4 Points funding, and what's their name? God, I'm gonna forget about it, but it's an angel group out of Steamboat. It's just a really great group of people that are down to earth. And, if you're in Denver, you're driving 50 minutes just to get to Green Mountain to compete with 400 people on your mountain bike. I ride my bike 5 minutes to lunch loops.
So you're definitely selling the area for a number of your listeners right now. And are there other security employers over there? Are you guys the only one right now, or is this you're part of a bigger movement?
We are. So there's couples, GIS, SaaS company startups. So there's CART and ProStar, great guys, Aaron Young. ProStar just got listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Wow. PAX 8 is moving into town. So if you guys are familiar with PAX 8, they've grown from 30 people to 800 people, and they have a really cool rural business model where they've been very successful in finding talents around Florence and that area. And now they're coming into Grand Junction. So
are they moving their headquarters there, or they're opening up an office there?
Just open up an office.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then, my goal is to scale up Cloudrise there. And and be a catalyst for bringing more tech into the Grand Valley.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I mean, we both love Colorado, and I agree. Like Denver has become challenging, right? I mean, it's so expensive to live here, and the talent is very expensive. Even though you get paid so much, it's still hard to live here, right? Because the prices have just been going up, and like you said, it does feel like we've got a little bit of that Bay Area bleed over, which is not always that much fun for buying homes. So really cool that you guys are driving into that. Speaking of Mesa State and the program there, have you had a chance to hire any of those folks yet?
No, I mean, we just got over there really last spring, and so setting up shop. But I'm just going to name it. We have this kid Jacob Hansen, who is just the most amazing intern.
Awesome.
He has just taken on. He builds architecture documents. He codes. And so we're having a big mixer. It's called Go at CMU. And it's a kickoff where it's really cool. Companies can come in, we can give them a project like, hey, build a reporting cube in Tableau or something. And then the kids take it for the semester, and then they have a showcase at the end of the semester. So we're sponsoring that. And our goal is that we'll probably have 4 to 6 more interns join this year. And yeah, it's just super excited.
So your intern program sounds amazing, and the fact that you're tied in with that school, I mean, that's got to drive folks who actually get an opportunity to work with a security company. That's awesome. So I mean, I've heard a lot of vision here, and it sounds like there's a lot of things coming. What do you see? Growth over the next quarter. Are there new technologies you're going to be looking to roll out to make yourselves even more efficient? Are you looking to get new partners? What comes next?
So phenomenal relationship with Netscope. Netscope, they've raised now $1.1 billion. They're the darlings of Sand Hill Road. I believe in Sanjay's vision. They just brought Dave Peranich over from Palo. Dave and I get along really well. And our goal is this. We did this with Vontu. We were Vontu's ultimate provider. And what I learned at IntelliSecure is I just should have stuck with Vontu. When I diluted it and made people have to learn other platforms as a small company, it's very dangerous. So I think what we're doing is we're just getting in deeper with Netscope, and they're expanding internationally. So we've signed a joint venture agreement with a company called Cyber Orchard in the UK. It provides us 10 resources over there, and Netscope feeds us a lot of their activation work. And so we're starting to do that globally. And I think we'll probably end up ultimately acquiring Cyber Orchard here in the next year or two. And then, Rob, I'd love to tell you where this journey is going to take us. This is so much more fun than the first one.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm getting to work with some of my best friends on the planet. You are absolutely right. We've got people that were at BW and IntelliSecure that went to Deloitte with us, and now they're here. And it's just this family, and we just operate as this very effective Navy SEAL team. Same time, we all kind of grew up a bit. And so it's not that bro culture. It's more of, let's get it done and have a good time.
I mean, you seem really mellow and relaxed versus, I would imagine having some success and having seen it before gives you a level of confidence, and maybe financially you don't have to worry quite as much as you did when you were starting this whole thing off. I don't know, but it sure seems like you're in a really good place from that perspective as well.
I got a kid at the Vail Ski Academy and a daughter in college. I won't retire until I'm 400 years old.
Well, whatever the reason is, you seem like you're in a good place mentally, and like this seems like a great opportunity for you to go do some fun stuff.
Yeah. And I'm super excited that you reached out and we got to chat again. It's been a while, and glad we could, start telling our story. We don't want to be boisterous, but, I do want to be a big advocate for Mesa County as well. And the state of Colorado is something near and dear to my heart. It has always kind of saved me. I'll leave it at that. And I think there's a generation of us that have the ability to not get sucked into the coast when it comes to tech. We don't have to lose our identity. There's plenty of great entrepreneurs. There's phenomenal local money here. Let's not dilute what an amazing place this is.
Yeah. I love it. And I also can't wait to really see you guys prove out the model of building a company in Mesa County out in Grand Junction, where, I haven't seen it yet. So, you proving out that it works is going to open that pathway to a lot more companies.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, Rob, this has been fantastic. We will look forward to tracking you guys, and maybe a year from now when you've doubled again, and maybe you've doubled twice since the last conversation, we can get you on and you can tell us, how you're using this technology to scale even better.
It's either that or I'll be using this technology at the corner of one of the off ramps to beg for money.
Well, I mean, as long as you're doing it at scale, you'll probably do really well. All right, Rob, we'll look forward to connecting with you again soon. And for everyone else, signing off, this is Colorado Equals Security. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Rob.
Learn more about the Colorado security scene at colorado-security.com, where you can see information about local security groups, a calendar of upcoming security events, and learn more about Colorado Equals Security. Reach out to Alex and Rob by emailing info@colorado-security.com. Until next time, remember, Colorado equals security.